nice cup of morning roast. Featuring
Fillmore's finest, Vontae Hill. The pride of the Excelsior, Joe Butcher Boy Shasky. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, the morning roast.
And Golden State will have to wait till maybe Houston on Sunday to look for their first road win. Final score, Phoenix 130 at Golden State 119. Warriors dropped to 6-9 on the season.
The great Tim Roy on the call right here on 95.7 The Game as the Warriors dropped to 0-8 on the road. First time they've done so since 89-90 when Mully, Mitch Richmond, and Tim Hardaway were playing together. And things are just not good right now for the Golden State Warriors as they dropped to 6-9 and to lose that game last night to a Phoenix team that was without Chris Paul, without Landry Shamet, without Cam Johnson. We know Jay Crowder is on those sidelines. It's a problem. It's a problem for the Golden State Warriors with the New York Knickerbockers coming in Friday night at Chase Center. We got issues as we say good morning to everybody out there on the roadways, getting ready for work. If you saw a Batmobile speeding by, that was probably your boy. Your boy was rushing to get to the studio today. Graveyard shift workers, janitors, warehouse workers, plumbers, ushers, security guards, everybody out there. Good morning, teachers, cops, firefighters, students. You know it. You name it. We got a lot to discuss here when it comes to the Golden State Warriors dropping that road game last night. Phoenix scored 72 in the first half, just like they did back on October 25th. There's no paint resistance. There's wide open threes, and we've got a Klay Thompson problem. We've got a Jordan Poole problem. We've got a team-wide problem. I'm not panicking right now, but something needs to shake. Something needs to shake. That was a game where you had an opportunity to make a statement. To say, you know what, let's just take care of our business and beat the Suns. Instead, it was the Suns dancing before the game, dancing during the game, dancing in front of their bitch, and dancing after the game while talking trash to you. That was bad last night. That was bad down there at the Footprint Center, Shasky.
It really was. I don't think that they're one tinker, two tinkers away. Like they got some really big issues. It's very complex. I don't want to blame it on any one person. Just a lot of things aren't going well right now. Jordan Poole, you can't drop 34 and then drop down to 2. You know? Klay Thompson.
Oh my gosh.
We've plowed that land. Well, you kind of know where I stand, and I'm sad. I'm like, he's one of my favorite players of all time, any sport, and I'm sad. And people think that I'm like ripping him, or I don't have loyalty, or I don't understand his resume. No, I'm well aware of all those things. And that's why it pains me to say what I'm saying, knowing that it's going to break people's hearts to hear it out loud. Draymond Green looked disinterested last night. I don't know, like, I know the numbers look good, and when I'm watching the game, I see that he's playing well. It just doesn't feel the same, though.
No.
It doesn't feel the same.
No.
You know, I'm looking at Anthony Lamb, and I'm going, Anthony Lamb deserves to play on this team. You know how many guys aren't playing with any kind of fire, and I watch someone who, like, let's call it what it is. This is a limited two-way player who's an overachiever.
He's playing for his job.
And yet I'm looking around, and I'm like, you know, he deserves a lot of these minutes.
Yeah, he's playing for his NBA life.
Exactly. Like Kevon Looney, I still think is giving you a lot of effort, energy.
Yep.
And we know he could be limited. Wiggins, I thought last night was one of his down games. It feels like he's floating too much and he's not a priority on offense. And the guy who's the stir, the drink, the cup, the water, the fluid, whatever you want to say, Steph Curry, I could see the frustration in every possession from him last night. And so I'm throwing my hands up, and I'm just, again, I ask this simple question to Warriors fans. It's not one thing. No one is sitting here watching this team night in, night out saying it's this guy or it's that guy. It is complicated. The question that I'm asking, do we ride this thing out, or are you ready to make a bold move? I love these guys. I have a loyalty to their resume. I understand their impact to the team. I understand how great they have been for so long. The fix is not a tinker away. They need bold moves, and I feel like they need a complete reset in terms of retooling the roster. That's just my opinion.
I'm looking at Klay Thompson. He scored 181 points this season on 185 field goals attempts. On 180, let me read that back. 185 field goal attempts for Klay Thompson this season. He scored 181 off of that. That is the opposite of efficient.
No.
All right? He shoot 35% from the floor, 33% from three. And again, there was a sequence in the third quarter with the Warriors down 90-83. And Klay chucks up 2 straight threes. The second one in which Wiggins was wide open in the corner. He is shot hunting when Wiggins should be the number 2 option at this point. Klay Thompson, he's fighting it. I appreciate his loyalty. I appreciate everything that he's trying to do to get back to at least last year's version of Klay Thompson, last season's version of Klay Thompson. That was just in June. Here we are in November. He's getting cooked defensively. He's taking terrible shots. I admire him trying to stay on the floor at the end of the game and playing garbage time to try to figure it out and get a couple shots to feel good about himself. But right now, it's just not cutting it. And then you contrast that with Jordan Poole coming off the bench at their season-high 36 points, and he gives you 2 points on 5 field goal attempts.
It's just,
it's bizarre.
That is the word I would call it, bizarre.
It's just what is going on here. And so Steph Curry drops 50 for the 11th time in his career. He's tied with Michael Jordan for second all-time for most 50-point games once you turn 30. All right? Michael Jordan with 6 50-point games when he turned 30. Steph Curry with 6. You know who's number 1?
Ponte, that's incredible.
You know who's number 1?
That's incredible.
Wilt Chamberlain with 7 after the age of 30, 50-point games. Steph Curry's in company with Wilt Chamberlain
That is insane.
and Michael Jordan.
That is insane.
And Steph Curry has dropped his third 40-point game just in the last week and a half. And we can't even enjoy it because his team can't play defense.
You know, it's like I don't want to pick on Klay. It just makes me really sad. I'm watching something go on. I don't know, mental, physical. I don't think it's over because I think he can still play in the league and play heavy minutes. Like we throw around, he's like so and so is washed, and it's like, no, I'm watching a guy. To me, he's like a 20 to 24 a minute night guy, depending on how he's rolling. He's just not going to be a 30-minute guy. And people could say he's got to get his legs under him. Even then, I think he's got to pick and choose his matchups, his spots. And I don't know if he's emotionally ready to accept that. And it makes me really sad. And I don't want to keep beating into the ground. Draymond Green. Look, I know the numbers, and I've seen like some of the play. It's there. I just don't feel the same spirit, the same fire, the same vigor that I'm watching. I don't feel that. Jordan Poole, what the hell is going on? How did this guy go from being saucy electric, every time he touched it, charismatic, something special is going to happen, I'm leaning forward, to now I feel apathy.
It's bad.
Like what?
So it all goes back, and when I was driving home last night, and I got in the house, and I thought about this team. I love this team. I love the Niners. I love the Giants. We love this team. To see that last night against the short-headed Phoenix Suns team, Cam Payne scored a career-high 29 points and hit 6 threes, and he was wide open. He did whatever the hell he wanted to do.
In the lane, finishing.
3-point line, finishing.
I mean,
and he was dancing. They were on the pregame show. They were dancing and feeling so loose.
Bonte, forget Cam Payne, who I think is a solid player. Torrey Craig was getting anything he wanted.
Anything he wanted. JaMychal Green couldn't finish around the basket. You couldn't play defense.
He's not good enough for me to even rip. He's just not good.
And I'm not even trying to rip these guys.
No, we're just calling it what it is. We're assessing.
We said the foundational 6 would have to carry this team early on. Because Kuminga's not playing. He was out with the illness, but somehow he was sitting on the bench. I thought he was ill. He's sitting on the bench.
I don't even know.
James Wiseman's back in Santa Cruz.
Moody got like a little taste. What do you have, like a second?
He didn't play till the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter. So
I don't get it.
So you send James Wiseman down to Santa Cruz because he needs to play. Can he look? I mean, can I just see him instead of JaMychal Green? Is it that bad? Is it that bad?
JaMychal Green has 0 IQ on the basketball court. He's not a defender. He's not a stretch 5. Yeah. You think he's going to stay in front of DeAndre Ayton?
Right.
And he tried to go on a dunk last night. Okogie met him at the rim, and it was pathetic. I mean, I don't even want to beat him. He's the least of my worries, B.
No,
they have major problems. That's the thing I think. Like, we can argue about the bench not being good enough, which is factually correct.
No doubt.
They have deeper, more complicated issues than just tinkering with some of the bench pieces. To me, this is a major foundational reconstruction.
So I'm looking at the Warriors right now, 12th in the Western Conference. And then there's no reason to panic. We're 15 games into the season. We are 15 games into the season. I get all that. And I wanted to win last night in the worst way.
I just wanted to play better.
Play better. But look, the bright side is you're 4 games back at the Suns in the loss column. It's not the end of the world. It's a lot of time to make up ground. But Steve Kerr mentioned it last night. They have to somehow help Klay. Zaza Pachulia's quote yesterday with Steiny and Guru saying, physically, Klay's there. Mentally, he's in a different place. Well, how do we get him into this place? How do we get him to have some better shot selection? He's trying to hit a grand slam every single possession. It's like, Klay, let others do the work for you right now. Please. The arc is bad. Defensively, he should not be guarding Devin Booker. That's Andrew Wiggins' job. Why is he guarding Devin Booker? Devin Booker gets into a nice little rhythm.
He's
and
fouling him early.
He's
fouling him early.
He's fouling him early. 9 assists for Devin Booker.
I know.
You had 9 assists for Mikal Bridges.
And to be fair, Devin Booker's excellent. He's one of the best shooting guards in the game.
And there was times Klay Thompson did a good job on him. There was. I'll give him that. However, it's the one sequence that said everything about Klay Thompson and the struggles he's going through right now. And it pains me to say it. It's 90-83 Phoenix in the third quarter. It's a pivotal moment. Klay jacks up a 3 maybe 2 feet behind the three-point line. He breaks. Phoenix comes down. They make a basket. Mm-hmm. Klay gets the ball again. One dribble and pulls up again from 3.
Was this the sequence when Draymond kind of stopped?
Yeah. That's what I'm getting to.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wiggins is right there in the corner, wide open. Wide open. When Klay shot that ball, I looked down at the screen and Draymond Green just slumped his shoulders and kind of walked back like, really? Really? So there's a disconnect going on. And we're going to play a lot of Steve Kerr sound because I haven't heard. Steve Kerr sounded broken last night.
Well, the Ramona Shelburne, I don't know who saw it, but
we all saw it.
He had a statement to Ramona. I'm off the Twitter right now, so I haven't seen a lot of things. It's probably a little more healthy for your boy. Right. But I'm off Twitter, so if you could tell me exactly what Ramona Shelburne said. When I saw you guys send that to the group thread yesterday, I was like, damn. The coach saying that?
Yeah.
To me, there's an acknowledgement at multiple levels, front office, players, coaches. This thing's about run its course.
So Steve Kerr basically told Ramona Shelburne in a piece on Klay Thompson, because he's been so lost. He was so lost during the rehab. It was really a good story about Ramona Shelburne. Very well written. Mm-hmm. Steve Kerr said, this could be like the last dance. This could be the last year of the core. Next year could be the last year of the core. We have no idea, but we are in the last chapter. We are nearing the end of the run for this core. And then yesterday during the pregame media availability, before the game, we met, what did they meet, about 2 hours before tip-off, basically said, this could last 3 years. It could last 2 years.
Try to walk it back
a little bit, but here's the reality. There's rarely a fairy tale ending in sports, especially in pro sports. And this core has been together for a decade. Klay, Dre, and Steph. Steph is still playing at an optimal level. He's playing at the highest levels. Mm-hmm. He's one of the best players in the league right now. You did give the extensions to Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins basically saying, hey, we love these guys. They're young. They're going to help carry us into the future. And that leaves Draymond Green, who has a player option, and Klay Thompson, who has another year after this season on his deal. Nothing lasts forever. And for the first time all season, I thought to myself, well, you might need a shakeup. A tweak here, a tweak there may not be enough. And something we brought up 3 months ago on this show. And the reason why I'm going to bring it up is because that man, Kevin Durant, said some things yesterday that opened my eyes even more. What did I say a couple Mondays ago, Jessica? I said, if this team is hovering around 500, let's monitor the Brooklyn Nets situation. Mm-hmm. Well, Kevin Durant and company just got 153 dropped on them in Sacramento. And Kevin Durant said, well, look at the guys I'm playing with. You expect us to win? I mean, can you imagine him walking in that locker room? So the Nets have an issue with KD. And the only reason why I bring up KD is because Steph Curry and the Rolling Stone, Shasky, said we had a conversation about it. You think it was just a conversation? There is a deep dive into bringing back Kevin Durant. And so with all that said, you said a shakeup. That may be the shakeup you're looking for. Well, I have no idea. I don't know what it looks like. I'm not saying trade this guy right now, but everything comes to an end. Everything.
Well, let me ask you this one. Do they look happy?
They don't look happy.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be happy all the time in the workplace to have success, but this team more than others needs to play a certain way. Like Dre needs to play with his pants on fire. I'm now obviously seeing that. I'll walk that one back. I was wrong. Like I don't know. He just doesn't play with
he doesn't play it the same way. Draymond has to be Draymond, which means he has to do all the yelling. He has to because that's what makes him him.
But he's a shell of himself. It just doesn't look right.
When you do what you do in training camp, you can't do that.
And the rest of the team used to play with such joy and happiness. Do you know anybody that's been divorced? Like, of your like immediate friends or anything like that?
I know some people who've been divorced.
So like a couple of my buddies were going through certain marriages early on, and on the outside looking at them, like I'm like, oh, you can't get divorced, like me, like I'm supposed to tell them what they're supposed to do in their relationship. But like my friends that were in these situations, they weren't happy. Like they legitimately weren't happy. Yeah. Okay. Then they went through the divorce. All right. And everybody was sad. Like, oh man, it's really sad. And like, oh, you grow attachments to someone's significant other and whatever. But then you realize like, oh no. Oh, they weren't happy. Yeah. Like, they legitimately weren't happy. And if you love your friends so much and you want to see that person be happy, then they need to go through the divorce to find happiness. And then they end up being a better person for it. And then hopefully they can find a significant other somewhere else. I look, and it's not a perfect analogy, but I look at the Golden State Warriors right now, specifically Steph Curry. If you're going to have loyalty to anyone or anything, it's to Steph. Because clearly he's still in his prime, and he's the stir, the drink, the fluid, everything when it comes to what makes the Warriors go. That's where the loyalty lies. And as much as I would love to have loyalty to all these other guys, if you want to hoist another championship or at least have a great opportunity to do so, you got to shake this up and you got to make the man happy. He cannot be miserable, dropping 50, frustrated because the rest of the team is not ready to go on a journey with him.
This guy dropped 50 points, grabbed 9 rebounds, sank 7 threes, dropped 6 assists, was 17 to 28, 7-11 from the three-point line. I mean, this guy is playing at an unbelievably high level at the age of 34. It's incredible.
Monte.
And we couldn't even enjoy it. Karen Burke said it yesterday in the postgame show, said it was just sad. Like, last night was a little sad because he did drop 50, and he's on the heater, and it's like, well, that's cool. You're down 15.
He hit a 3, and he's guarding Damian Lee in the corner, and he's shaking his head, like, angry at the 3 or 4 possessions prior.
I mean,
because he's down 14 with 3 minutes to go or whatever it was.
Dude, he's averaging 33. Nearly 7 rebounds, 6.5 assists. He's shooting 53% from the floor, 44.7 from 3.
Can I give you another a sports metaphor here? Yeah. Remember when like Belichick and Brady were up in New England and it was that final year and it just felt stale?
It was bad.
It felt stale.
And they advanced to the playoffs and lost in the first round of Tennessee. But they weren't on the same page.
No, and
it was nasty.
And like it feels like that whole team kind of like felt that way. You know what I mean? And then Tom Brady obviously goes to Tampa Bay and it's like rejuvenation for him. Right. And he needed a reset. He needed a new roster around him. Look, man, I know everyone wants to go down with the ship and they want to be loyal to Steph and Clay and Dre. And sometimes you got to make tough decisions if you want to have one of those guys stay. Right. Like I look at the San Francisco Giants, okay, and I ask, and there's a lot of overlapping fans, and I ask this question, like, how many Giants fans were super frustrated 2018, 19, 2020 because they hung on to Belt and Crawford?
Everybody. A lot of people.
Right? And then
a lot of people.
And so you can't have it both ways.
Right.
You're either going to be loyal and you're just going to have to swallow all of this and not complain, or you shake things up.
Well, and let me say this before we go to break. We're going to get to the calls next segment. Coach, SFA drummer, Basic Kev, Larry. We'll get you coming up on the other side. Moving Clay to the bench does nothing for this team.
Their problems are deeper.
It's deeper.
They're deeper than that. We've reached a point.
Is Clay playing like a starter? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely. He's playing terrible basketball. And he's playing selfish basketball. It's becoming selfish with the shot hunting. 6 shots in the first 6 minutes of the first quarter. Steph Curry goes 2 for 2 right off the rip. Doesn't get another shot for 5 minutes. He's hot. Give him the ball. Get Andrew Wiggins rolling, because when you don't get Andrew Wiggins rolling, he starts getting lost and he looks aloof. He needs to get his touches. He's your second best player right now, Andrew Wiggins. No doubt. Both sides of the ball. He's your second best player.
But he's not getting the focus that he should as the number 2.
Exactly. Because Clay, there's a little selfishness there with Klay Thompson.
He's taking the oxygen out of the ball.
But going to the bench does nothing for the team in the grand scheme of things. Because all of a sudden you start Jordan Poole, say he's going off and he's going crazy. Well, Klay Thompson's coming off the bench, and mentally, I know he can't handle that.
Well, let me ask you this about Klay Thompson. Don't you think, like, him being a 30-plus-a-night guy, that might not be the maximum for him? Like, in terms of, I want the optimal version of Klay. To me, he could start. Yeah. I just think he's a 20 to 25 minute a night guy now.
I don't know what he is.
And I think
now.
He's more of a 3 and a 4 most nights against most teams than he is a 2.
He shouldn't be guarding Campaign and Devin Booker. I mean,
an occasional switch, you're going to have that happen.
But you can't be coming out there full court, staying in front of Devin Booker.
Right around him.
He's not the same guy.
It's sad to watch because we love him. He's one of our favorite players in Bay Area sports history. This isn't about people crushing him. It's sad to watch.
And Jordan
it's
Poole,
sad to see our heroes depreciate.
And it's sad to see Jordan Poole score 2 points.
Yeah.
Off the pitch. Unbelievable.